Hey, 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 it's Kimberly Joy Morgan of Do All Things with Joy, and I'm excited to be here today. I love coming in with my Share the Joys each week, but I'm sorry I missed last week, but my parents were in town in what I like to call sunny Florida. Kind of today it's rainy Florida, but they were here celebrating with me and just having a good time. Hey, hey, Andrea, so good to see you. So today we're going to really talk about iron deficiency, and I have to make a confession. I went to the doctor this past weekend and, or not weekend, but last Friday, and I had my blood work done. Everything came back stellar except for one thing. And they were like, Kimberly, you have an iron deficiency. And I was like, oh. They were like, are your cycles heavy? I was like, yes, this and that and the other. So they said, well, we're really not concerned about it because of that, but you probably want to increase your iron intake. And I was like, all right, I know what to do, but I wanted to make sure that everyone else here knows what to do so that you're not in that and what some of the signs and symptoms are. Now, here's the deal. I'm not experiencing many of the signs and symptoms, and she said it was just a very low deficiency, but deficient nonetheless. 10% of women are deficient, and we're deficient because of our cycles, okay? So our menstrual cycles. And other things as well. Diet as well. And we're going to talk about that next week. This is part one. But we're going to talk about some of the signs and the symptoms just so that you know. But first, I want to make sure I educate you on what iron does. So it is basically a mineral deficiency, kind of like we've talked about magnesium before as being a mineral deficiency. But iron helps to metabolize protein and plays the role in the production of hemoglobin of red blood cells. Okay, so it's all attached to the red blood cells. White blood cells, deal more with infection and things like that. And the red blood cells are dealing with the protein and the hemoglobin in the blood. And it transports oxygen through the blood as well. So oxygen is really important to getting to the brain, the cells, all that good stuff. And so it means that you aren't able to transport, if you aren't able to transport enough oxygen carrying red blood cells, so your body struggles to transport oxygen to your brain, your tissues, your muscles, your cells, which can leave you feeling exhausted and fatigued. Hey, Kenny. Hey, Kathy. So good to see you guys. Hey, Rodney. Awesome. Thanks for joining me. And weak. So you could be tired and weak. So one of the things is understanding what that's doing. Hey, Jennifer. All right. So iron is important also in enzyme production in the body and digestion. So this is when my red flags started going up as I started researching more. Because you know me, I'm always the kind of person that the doctor tells me one thing and then I'm going to start researching to figure out the why and what's the root of something, because it's not always like, oh, I'm just iron deficient. I wanted to know why. So I started digging after I got this information yesterday, and I realized that if you've had an issue like I did with C. difficile, or you have Crohn's, or you have celiac disease, or you have ulcerative colitis, or anything like that, you can, hey, Erica, so good to see you, baby doll. If you have any of those things going on, you can have a problem with the absorption of iron into your bloodstream. So understanding that the balance of these hormone levels can also affect your brain, your heart, your skin, your hair, your nails, and your metabolic health. Yes, metabolic health. Those are the people that are like, why can't I lose weight? Why can't I, I feel like I'm stuck. It could be something going on with a mineral deficiency in iron. So here's some things that you might find that happen if you have a deficiency in iron. Now, not everyone who is deficient in iron has anemia. That's a very severe version of iron deficiency, but anemia is one thing. You could have chronic fatigue. If you're always feeling like you're tired, no matter how much sleep you get, no matter what you do, you might want to get your iron levels checked. Pale or yellow skin. My husband would say, yeah, that'd be you because you high yellow. Whatever, you married me. Shortness of breath, abnormal heartbeats, arrhythmia, things like that. Hey, cuz, it's so good to see you, artist. Signs of hormonal imbalances, okay? So if you notice things like irregular periods, fatigue or mood swings, things like that. Trouble exercising. So let's say you used to be able to bench press 45 pounds and you're struggling. That might be a sign that you're not getting enough oxygen to the blood to be able to produce the muscles that you need. Muscle weakness, another piece of it. Change in appetite, not really having an appetite or too much of an appetite. Trouble getting good sleep at night. Changes in your weight. A cough, persistent cough. Trouble concentrating and learning, so that focus, that oxygen to the brain and the blood cells. Remembering, or if you find that you have sores in your mouth or on your tongue. mood changes, and you're very tired. So those are some of the things to look out for as your like possibilities, all right, of things going on with anemia or signs. So women, once I said, are more susceptible because every month we have a menstrual period. But there's another group of people that it can affect as well, and those are people who are vegan. And I'm not vegan, but I eat a pretty vegetarian lifestyle. I only include meat every once in a while. So I'm a woman who still has her menstrual cycle. I also eat more of a vegetarian diet, and I'm a blood type A for that reason. So I'm just giving you what I'm realizing, like, ooh, I fall into a lot of this. It's people who exercise a lot. Ding, ding, ding. That would be me. Okay, so then you got that. Pregnant. No, not that anymore. Kidney failure. I've never had kidney failure, but you can also have ulcers. Not that I know of. I've never had ulcers. Just gastrointestinal disorders. Yes, C. difficile. That was huge, remember? So like I said, celiac, ulcerative colitis, all of those kinds of things, Crohn's, you could be more susceptible to iron deficiency. Now here's a big one. Hey, if you're taking antacids, remember we talked about that when I talked about acid reflux and GERD. That has a lot of calcium in it, and calcium blocks the absorption of iron. So if you drink a glass of milk and you take an iron pill, or you drink a glass of milk and you eat a bunch of spinach or sardines, you might not be getting the iron that you think that you're getting. So next week we'll talk about the foods that we want to eat and the combination of foods to actually get the iron absorption in the body. So just know that. So antacids could be one of your problems for not absorbing iron properly. And then also you could have, if you had loss of blood, so let's say maybe a blood transfusion or you were in surgery, like that's why the menstrual cycle is part of that as well. So I hope that these things have given you a little bit of an insight into iron deficiency, what it means, why we need iron in the blood. So please, please, please ask me any questions that you might have in the bottom, the comment section. Feel free to share this out. You might not be suffering with low blood iron, but someone else might be. And then next week, tune in on Friday as I come to you with another edition of Share the Joy, where we talk about the foods and lifestyle choices that we can make to increase our iron. And that's what I'll be doing all this week and throughout my life, so that I am able to not come back with a report from my blood work next year that I have an iron deficiency. All right, so peace and blessings to you all. Let me know if you have any questions. You know I'm here for you. And remember to share the joy. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.